everybody. I'm back with episode 71 of Let's Talk. Now, I'm going to continue from last night's topic, which was bullying ain't life. Talking about bullying, obviously. As I did mention that I was actually going to do, kind of continue off in the next episode because I was fairly tired. It was up actually till midnight, so working on my report, and then I realized, I have another one to do, and I, just wanted to really touch up on that one and just kind of like, look through it. So yeah, I was just looking through the comments of my videos, and I noticed somebody commented, something pretty neat. Not too many people, not too many people comment on my videos, so it's kind of cool to know that somebody commented. You know what I mean? Just really neat. Um, my dog is pissing me off. I hate when he barks. I love my dog to death, but I hate when he barks. What the hell did it say? Why is that in Italian? What the frig? Kind of weird. Fingers itchy. Anyways, so I'm gonna try not to get off topic like I was yesterday. And not that it was a topic, but I would stop talking because I was doing my report. So yeah. I don't remember exactly where I left off. I know I left off talking about as you get older and it's a little bit harder to kind of get with bullying because you're most likely going to bully somebody that's your age. So they'll have the same amount of knowledge more or less as you in terms of like um, logic, more kinda, sorta. Voglio suggerimenti per far crescere molto pubblico su YouTube connettivi al hangout che si terrà a dicembre. Okay, I'm not sure what the hell this means. This is kind of weird, guys. Kind of odd. I really don't know why it's in Italian. Sorry, guys. Okay. So I got a thing on YouTube. It says develop your audience, but it says it in Italian, and my channel is my language is set to English. Thank God I understand Italian because if it was in a different language, I would have had to. Mind I could have used translating, but kind of. I'm really not sure why it's doing that. So it says numbers enrolled. It says numero iscritti, which means numbers enrolled. So I'm assuming it's going to mean subscribers. So it's 0 to 50 because I have under 50. And my YouTube channel. I gotta go to my YouTube thing. Jesus Lord Almighty. If I can grow my audience, I might as well. Um, sorry guys, I'm trying to help somebody out here. That's one of my videos. Audio file is ACC, which is so M4A and MP3 are more or less the same thing. MP3, which had not been originally designed for audio only, but was a layer 3. Oh, sorry, I just wanted to look up format of the thing. So my apologies, guys. As I was saying, when it comes to bullying when you're older, it's really it's stupid, really, because it's like, why would you do that? You know what I mean? It's like you don't you don't sorry guys. Now, sorry guys. So once you get like the one bigger thing which my mom's told me many times in the past when I've come home upset over something happening, like I've been bullied, or kids are picking on me or whatever, is she brings up the fact that even at her age, people still do it, and then it's like that really shows like a lot of immaturity because it's like at 40, 50, 60 years old, if you're going to be making fun of somebody, this is going to sound kind of stupid, but at least make sure it's over something legit. You know what I mean? Not over something stupid, um, like money. Which really, it's not like I'm going to take back what I just said. It's don't make sure it's over something legit because there's no true like truly right thing to make fun of somebody. You know what I mean? There's nothing that you can say. I can't offend somebody in a good way. Basically, it's ironic. Sorry, guys. So as I was saying, once you get to an older age, like I was mentioning, my mom mentions once you get older. My apologies, guys. Mom was asking me something. Making fun of somebody just One, you really don't expect it, so it's fairly uncommon that it happens. Which, but it's just it still happens. Um, what I noticed one big thing that people make a mistake on is assuming, that and this is something my mom said. If someone makes fun of you, and if you're gonna attempt to reply back to them, obviously I'm not saying only on over the internet, but if you're face to face with that person, you're gonna attempt to get back at them like verbally, not like I'm gonna kill you. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna attempt to say a comeback, in a way it's good because at least it shows even if it sounds stupid, at least you attempted. You made the effort or whatever. So one thing that kind of throws that off is for one, you don't necessarily want to have somebody think that you're just wasting. Like some people will be trying to make fun of you, and then they'll try to keep it rolling as much as long as possible, so that way. Um, ti invier, ti inviere, man, ti invieremo ulteriori dettagli qualche giorno prima dell'evento. So this I actually have to translate because I don't know what that means. Kind of ironic. Oh, I can use a freaking paste. That's kind of neat. Um, no, this isn't what I want. Okay, so I can't. We will send you more details a few days before the event. I'm not sure when the event is. Grazie, ti sei registrato all'evento. Thank you. All right. My apologies, guys. So, as I was saying, oh, for the love of Christ, this thing's really pissing me off. As I was saying, um, when it comes to um, truly, I don't know how to exactly explain it. When it comes to fighting back verbally, obviously in this case, or you should never, um, what's the word? You should never resort to using violence as a first choice. That should always be your last choice. The last resort. Uh, for one being, these days everybody goes after a lawsuit like it's nothing. You know what I mean? Like you can throw a bottle at somebody it hits somebody by accident, and you might throw in the garbage, and they can file a fucking lawsuit. Well, something stupid like that. Obviously, people probably wouldn't do that, but just yeah. So that being said, you got to keep that in mind when you consider saying something. Make sure it's nothing threatening. Um, like one thing that I can kind of say would maybe get someone a little bit iffy is if somebody threatens you, is it all right to threaten them back? I personally think no. Despite it's kind of like if someone pushes you in an aggressive way, is it all right to push them back? And every occasion, no. In some occasions, yeah. Like if someone just comes up to you and punches you and you go kill them, obviously that's not the way to deal with it. For one, they could have mental issues. They in terms of like mental stability, they may not be all there. They may not be able to actually know that what they were doing or what they did was wrong. So I can't necessarily say that um, things like that are instinctive, basically, because I don't know exactly how to explain it. Uh, refresh? How do you refresh or reload? F5. Okay, I see what. Okay, now it works. Thank God. Um, I just noticed that bullying is a huge. This damn fruit fly is pissing me off, little bastard. Get over here. Anyways, I know this bullying has always been an issue. It's kind of sad that I can say that, and it makes and it's true. But bullying has always been somewhat of an issue, whether big or small. That's what she said. It's always been evident. It's always been something um, that's caused controversy throughout the world. Because no one place in the world is one that you can say has no bullying going on whatsoever. It is nowhere in the world can you say is 100% conflict free, because bullying is typically thought of to be done in you know the young adolescent years, if anything. Once you get older, it's not necessarily something common, as I mentioned earlier. Um, it's not something that you always hear about. Whereas somebody younger like me, in my age, you'll probably hear about it a lot more often. Just for whatever reason, it's just sadly how things are. Now, yeah, there are people that are a lot more mature and realize, what, why waste my breath making fun of somebody? I know it's not right. I can get into trouble, which I lose either way. And if I get into trouble, I lose even more. Which is not necessarily, it's not a game. It's just, that's how you should think about it. The attitude changes, and it's stupid. But ways to conquer bullying that I used included telling an adult, in particular my mom. You can tell your parents, guardians, social workers, plural. I don't know if you have more than one social worker. Um, Something that you trust, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to destroy this damn fruit fly. It's small, so it's a little hard to stare at it with my glasses and keep my eyes on it, but, you know. And again, that's what she said. Go ahead and make your sexual jokes. Go straight ahead. But in all seriousness, this probably isn't the best time to say that. In all seriousness, I think I didn't get it. In all seriousness, when it comes to dealing with a bully or somebody that is bothering you, one thing that I can kind of say in relation to this is um, harassment, which is basically when you are constantly um, let me just look it up because the way that I want to say it, I can't think of. Aggressive pressure or intimidation. They face daily harassment by the police. I wonder who they are. So I'm going to read to you guys what is harassment in Ontario. I know that's not the way you're supposed to say it. It's what harassment is in Ontario. Whatever. Um, Harassment in Ontario, guys. This is the Ontario Human Rights Commission, the OHRC. Their definition of harassment is when people make comments or actions that are unwelcome, even though they should know that what they say or do is not welcome. Or in other words, sorry, my eyes itchy. What was said or the behavior usually happened more than once. The person responsible for the comment or conduct should have known that it is not welcome. Sometimes it's hard to tell someone to stop. So if you don't or can't The code doesn't require that you do so. Oh my god. Vexations, distressing, full of disorder or stress. That's actually really cool. I'm actually gonna save this. I'm gonna save this as a bookmark. I really like these types of things. You know what I mean? It's just like you can extend your knowledge. Why not? You know what I mean? Why not? But yeah, it's just so ridiculous how many people are bullied or bullies in this world. Because it's like you think, excuse me, for the amount of suicides and all this controversy and confliction that it's caused by bullying and whatnot. You would think that bullying would be very minimal, or at least not as common as it is, because it seems that as time passes, bullying becomes more and more of an issue. It's like kids, especially even adults, sometimes don't understand the importance of being nice. Like you teach your kids to be nice, and then they grow up to be nice, and maybe you're bullied. I don't know, something stupid. It's just weird. But I'm not here to like judge anybody. I'm just like being totally honest with you guys. I don't know. Um, excuse me. I don't know what you guys think. Like certain people, I don't know how to kind of word this properly. Sorry. Like, one big thing that I noticed, and this is something that's very, very common: racial profiling, things that kind of escalate bullying from just bullying. Bullying is one thing, then escalating it something further, it's ridiculous. Like the amount of racial tension within the world's economy is really, really ridiculous. Like how so many people feel it's necessary to just discriminate somebody um, based off of their race, nationality, the language they speak, the religion they choose to follow or practice, or whatever, music they listen to, books they read, games they play, shows they watch, places they go, city they live in, street they live on, house they live in terms of financial status, all these stupid things is ridiculous. How people may manage to escalate things to an unreasonable level. Not that bullying, just as bullying, isn't unnecessary or you know unreasonable, but it's just even more unreasonable, which makes me sick. Because I, for one, know that it's nothing something wants to actually go through. Um, excuse me. And one of the the reasons why I'm doing this is because I know for a fact if I want to do something that, for instance, I know somebody may get offended by it. Certain things you just don't do. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people don't understand the true purpose behind just being nice, being collective, and not just being a straight up asshole. Like I don't get how many people like, I see it in school. The other day there was a huge fight because one kid called another kid a name. This kid retaliated with another name. They started confrontation. Then they started this fight, and you know what I mean. It's just it escalated way too quickly. But my point is that it even started. It started, which really shouldn't have happened. Which again, it's immaturity because again we're in high school, but still being that we're in high school and it still happens is dumb. Okay, sorry guys. And that being said, I'm gonna keep that as a side note while you're watching this. When people bully you, what do you do to stop it? How frequently do you notice somebody being bullied? Or sadly, we don't even notice somebody's being bullied. I don't know, we can talk to somebody today, and for the next week they're going to be harassed and bullied and whatnot. We don't even know. Half time we don't even know. And it's weird because it's amazing because it's like you can bring it up to a teacher and the teacher will be completely surprised and baffled and shocked by the fact that you told them you were being bullied, regardless whether you have a history of being bullied in the past or not. They're just still baffled. It's like you can be bullied all the time when you were younger, and then it stopped when you got older and got into high school, and then it started again in high school, and then you tell your teacher, and it's like, wow, I can't believe this. So I'm not blaming teachers. Yes, there are teachers that truly just do not care enough to actually take it into, not necessarily take it into their hands completely, but take control over the situation. You know what I mean? Because if it has to get to the point where police is involved, that's where it's really or out of control. Sorry, that's where it gets to a point where it's way too much. It's not. Um, I don't know exactly what I really mean to say, but it's like one. It's crazy how frequently you hear of somebody committing suicide because of stress related to bullying. It's like you look at Amanda Todd. She was harassed. Now I understand what she did was by no means right. She maybe didn't realize it. Or whatever. I've watched the documentary, but my point behind it, I'll link it down below if I can find it. A beautiful 14-year-old, 15-year-old girl, I think she was. I don't remember how old she was. And I'm not saying this sounds like a pedophile by no means. I'm not crazy like that. I'm not fucked up. But I'm saying this with all seriousness. A girl pretty like her, I'm not saying, again, not to be disgusting. I'm saying, like, felt the, um, no, she felt it was at that moment okay to expose herself. Then she realized, well, maybe this wasn't a good idea. And I think it stopped, and then she did it one more time or something like that. Or so, no, somebody had managed to get their hands on the pictures of her exposing her body and spread it all over the internet and then blackmailed her, I think, to do it again on a webcam stream or something like that. I don't remember what they did. And she ended up killing herself because she couldn't handle the stress, which I believe personally it's not the mother's fault or the parents' fault or whoever. It's society's fault because of the fact that they let it get to that point where it was uncontrollable for her and led her to killing herself, which I think is absolutely crazy. I've seen so many crazy things in my life, but seeing somebody kill themselves because of someone else's actions, it's the closest you get to murder. You know, it's a homicide, but it's not the same as just any other murder. This is somebody killing himself, not somebody killing another person. You know what I mean? So, not that it makes it less important or more important, but just I find it a little bit more important because of its relevancy to this topic. But all other matters aside, that's just another. That's one of the many conflicts we have to deal with in our society, which I think is crazy. That kids as young as 14, kids younger than that, I'm sure, have committed suicide because of bullying. Kids, if I had to say kids, somebody that's younger than 16 kills themselves, not that it makes any worse or any better, sorry, any less important when they're older. But my point is, somebody at that young of an age to kill themselves because of that much stress must be a lot, and it must be very hard to handle and bear. It got to that point because she knew that It's like and I know what it's like to be suicidal, so I can tell you from somebody that has been in that situation, who's been through that set of emotions and those set of emotions and all those different things that you think and you're feeling and whatnot. It's crazy because it's like you sit back and you're just thinking to yourself like, how am I still here? You think what's the purpose of living? But then only a chunk of those people actually take their own lives away as a solution to actually solving a problem. You know what I mean? That's the solution, just killing himself. Because they don't feel it's um they don't feel or that it's necessary for them to live anymore because of the fact that they think if this many people are making fun of me and there's a lot of nice people out there, it must be you know just me not being worthy of life. So I might as well just kill myself because I'm not important to those so many different people. And thousands of people, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people made fun of her or criticized her, whatnot, or looked at her. Which I understand their point, but I don't understand what made it right. Like when did it become all right to make somebody get to the point where they kill themselves because they can't handle the stress that you're putting on them? It's one thing, and I'm not saying suicide's right. I understand what gets people to that point, but I don't think it's right to commit suicide. I'm still here for that reason and other reasons too. But my point is the general thought is suicide is not the best option. It's actually one of the worst things you can do in terms of religion and in terms of self respect. Because if you kill yourself, you're showing self respect at its lowest because you have nothing there for you physically in a flesh matter. You know what I mean? When you kill yourself, you go to heaven. I believe in heaven. I believe in hell and whatnot. You go to heaven or hell. And personally, when you sin, this is kind of where religion gets a little bit iffy for me too. Not iffy in the sense that I don't believe it, but iffy in the sense that it's kind of confusing to me. If I kill myself, but before that I was, an honorable student, I was very religious and whatnot. But then let's say Amanda Todd was like the most religious person in the world. She was very headstrong about being Catholic, in my opinion. In my case, sorry. And it happens the exact same way, but the only major difference, unless it is that way, is that she is like very, very, very religious. For one person who just tuned in and tuned off and came back, can you just please, comment as I'm talking about this? Um, just on your opinion on what I'm talking about as I'm talking about it. And it is, if Amanda Todd, look up Amanda Todd if you don't know who she is. As I mentioned, when this video is uploaded as a video, obviously the stream will be done. I'll link in the description the link to the video that I watched. I believe it was a documentary. I know it exposed more in-depth detail about what exactly went on from the beginning of the Amanda Todd um, event. I don't know the exact word I want to say. Like from the beginning to the end of Amanda Todd's journey through her depression state because of what she did and the choices she made and whatnot. I'll link that down below in the description. But as I was saying, if she was hardcore religious, she was very, very, very religious. She believed in God and whatnot, and she was like straight up like religion was like her like the most important thing in her life aside from her life itself and family. And she kills herself because it got to this point. If she's more religious, does that change whether or not she goes to heaven or hell? Now, the one viewer watching this, if you're atheist, please still give, obviously, whether I say to do it or not, you'll probably do it anyways, but give your opinion on this because I find it fascinating to know what you think, what others think about um, suicide, and especially from an atheist point of view. I think that's really interesting to know that somebody who does not believe in religion, or maybe who maybe not necessarily an atheist, but somebody who's not Catholic or Christian, um, and maybe believes in, they follow Buddhism or they're Hindu or whatever, they're Muslim. That, I think that's cool because I know each religion and each faith and whatnot has their own um, view on suicide. For the most part, it's wrong. Now, reincarnation, when it comes to Buddhism, this is where it kind of gets at, like, it's a 50-50 thing. Self immolation, I believe it's called, is where a Buddhist monk lights himself on fire as a form of self-sacrifice in what is, I don't know exactly the whole everything. It's basically a form of it's a spiritual ritual that they perform. I believe once a day or something like that, or every day a Buddhist monk, um, what we would say is commits suicide by lighting themselves on fire. But to them, what they're doing is actually sacrificing their life for Buddha. They're giving their life to Buddha for Buddha to, in turn, reincarnate their life into another form, whether an animal or another human, just a different life form, as it's not their own, obviously, because they just killed themselves. But that I'm not talking about. I'm talking about this, me being a Roman Catholic. I'm Italian, raised in a Catholic household. I'm not the most religious person in the world, but at the same time, I can still vouch and say that religion is one of the things that kept me from killing myself when I got suicidal. It's probably one of the things that's kept many other people from killing themselves when they've gotten to this point. And it's something that's very, it's very important to a lot of different people, because if you don't have to necessarily be God fearing to realize and understand that suicide isn't right. It's not, depending on what you consider as suicide. Like I mentioned, the Buddhist monk lighting himself on fire as self-sacrifice for the ritual, the spiritual ritual. To them, that's not suicide. That's sacrificing. That's giving himself to Buddha, as I mentioned earlier, in turn for um, reincarnation to a different life form or the same life form in a different matter. Sorry, the other way around. A different life form of life form of a different matter, the same life form in terms of being human, but as a different person. Obviously, like I can't. If I was a Buddhist, I don't believe at all that I can kill myself by lighting myself on fire, sacrifice myself in any way whatsoever, die. I do not believe they go to heaven. I think because I know, like, reincarnation. When you go to heaven, um, you don't come back as another being. I don't know if spirits count as a form of reincarnation in any way, shape, or form. In a way, it kind of does, kind of, sort of adds up like that, but it's not. I don't know exactly if that's considered reincarnation. If you believe in the Holy Spirit, as well as when you die, your spirit still lives on. Because in a way, I think about it like this: I think if your spirit still lives on, that means you are not truly dead, or like you as a physical being are dead. But oh no, I have two viewers. What the hell? But well, never mind. But it's it's weird. Like how do you exactly justify if I kill myself? And like I mentioned with Manitod, if Manitod was very religious and like it happened, she made a wrong choice, made the wrong move, and this happened according to the way it happened. The only major difference is that she was like really religious, and from there on, it was the exact same thing. Religion, the amount of importance religion had in her life was the only difference. So if she was super religious, but at that point, I would kind of think, would she still do it? I don't know. But in my point, if she still did it, but in her mind, she was taught in a super religious household. She was taught suicide is the absolute worst thing to do. It's not an option whatsoever. But yet she kills herself. Does she still go to hell? Being that she worshipped God to the max, like she goes to church every Sunday, every Saturday. Um, if you're Jewish, you go every Saturday, I believe it is. If you're Christian, if you're Christian, you go to every Sunday. Which you can go to church any day. But my point, you know, does it change anything for her in terms of an afterlife? And that's what that's why I'm getting into reincarnation, because as an afterlife, I believe we just go to heaven, and our soul doesn't. We cannot produce uh, um, a replication of ourself or be reborn in another form of life, whether an animal or another human being. So, or some other, living form of life. Um, I don't know exactly what you guys think about that. That's why I really want you guys to actually let me know. Do you feel? Let me type this up actually in the Q and A, because I know now that I got a few people that were actually watching. Ask your audience to submit questions and they will appear. Oh, cool, cool. Um, okay, I see what this is. So this is if you guys already. So whatever, But as I was mentioning earlier, getting over bullying is never something majorly easy. It's something that somebody can just say, well, I can get over bullying, no problem. There's no issue with it. Because, excuse me, everybody at some point is going to have a bit of an issue with bullying. It's not like, nobody really knows. But at the same time, nobody really, really knows what truly happens when we die. We choose to believe based off of the faith on our religion that, you know, we go to heaven or we come back in another life form, or we don't go anywhere. You know what I mean? So something like that is really interesting because I find it fascinating. I find it to be probably the biggest factor in life. Like a lot of people either cherish religion or they don't believe in it. Or not that I don't believe it, because I'm like in between. I believe in my religion, but I also understand the reasons for belief in other religions. I do know that I believe that every religion is legitimate, because the same way I believe for the same reason that I believe in my religion, I believe that the other religions are legit too. Because I believe in being in Jesus Christ because it had to come from somewhere. You know what I mean? You can't just magically have something drawn out, because this is something that is started from ancient times, like many, 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 many years ago. So it's not something that's developed over the last like 100 years, or the last like few decades. It's something that's developed over the last maybe few centuries, few 100,000 years. You know what I mean? So it's like that's something that's obviously had a lot of time to settle into a lot of different people. Many, many generations have passed, and we still choose to have. There's still people that choose to believe in it. So at that point, it must be something that is even if it's partly true. Because do I believe every single detail in the Bible? Maybe not. I haven't read the whole Bible, front to back, word for word, so I can't really tell you for sure. But you know, I can't guarantee you guys that I would believe everything. And I'm not doubting my religion if I'm saying this. It's just I don't feel the same way. Like a lot of I don't know. When people when people comment on religion, like I did a stream ways back, me on religion. I'll link that down below as well. When people manage to understand someone else's perspective on anything, whether it's religion, food, music, books, TV shows, whatever, does it change their outlook on it? Does it make them feel like, well, what I thought was completely wrong, and because of that, it's just, you know, that's just how it is. Or is it something like, well, regardless what you feel, he told me yes, it's great, but I don't believe it one bit. I'm not going to choose to let it affect how I believe in it. So that's kind of like where there's a bit of controversy. So I don't know. Like it's such a diverse topic. Bullying. So many people have so many different looks on it. Like, should bullying be taught about in school in terms of should we be taught at a young age in school to on how to deal with bullying? Because yeah, we have assemblies as young kids in school and elementary, which is when as we're growing up, we are taught this bit by bit. But we should not. Should we have an actual class or something like that, or like an after school program, which they have after school programs to deal with kids that are bullying and whatnot, stress kids. But the fact that there's so many kids killing themselves, so many people kill themselves over bullying and over all these different things, that things that are directed towards them or towards their ethnicity or towards their nationality, towards their religion, towards whatever, that allow them to feel it's necessary to just kill themselves. Should there be something that we have to enroll our kids in, or that is mandatory or whatever, to allow our kids to get the knowledge they need in order to know how to deal with bullying? Because in my opinion, if let's say one day I have a kid, may God give me the amazing, wonderful gift of having a kid, even if it's not through blood and it's adopted. If I get to have my own child, and one day they come home and they say, "Daddy," they ask me to my wife too, but in this case, they say, "Daddy, I was bullied at school today, or somebody picked on me, somebody made fun of me, somebody called me fat, somebody called me stupid, somebody called me ugly." I think about this because it's like I know what my mom went through when I was a little kid, and I would come home crying or messed up, or sorry, like stressed out, because it would mess me up because all these kids would bully me because I was fat and call me ugly, stupid, this, that, and it would escalate to the point where I would really, really, really get affected by it, and it would affect me emotionally, which caused me to get suicidal, which caused all these different emotions to come over me, and it's like that's ridiculous because it's not necessarily my mom didn't know how to teach me. It's just everybody deals with it differently. So the way my mom may have taught me to deal with it maybe didn't work in this instance, that or to help. It didn't work to help overcome my particular issue with bullying. Like maybe what she said for me to do, which like she says, just ignore it. Maybe that didn't help it at all. Maybe it made it worse because now they're saying, well, I'm just like once you're getting bullied enough, like I mentioned last night, it starts to kind of brainwash you in a way where it's like your brain's kind of fixed on the idea that what they're saying is starting to be true. Like it's not that it's starting to be true. It's at some point going to start making you think that your brain's going to think, well, what they're saying is true. What they have been saying is true. So what they're going to say is true. And then you just fixated on it. It's like it's not going to change. So it's like, why would you think otherwise? Why would you bother ignoring it? If it's true, they're going to tell you this. They're not going to stop telling you this because your mom raised you saying that people usually like my mom raised me in the way that bullying. She got bullied as a kid. I think just about any person watching this, whether stream or a video, if you're watching this with friends, if you're watching this group, whatever, has been bullied at some point in their life, whether recently, whether in the past, or God forbid, they will be bullied in the future. For whatever the reason, it doesn't matter if it's over money, if it's over this, over that. I'm not talking about over a specific reason. The point, the matter is that they're just being bullied. for no whatever the reason. My main point is everybody has been bullied at least once, whether through major or minor conflict, once. So it may have ended right there. It may have just been that one time thing. So it's like, well, I chose to just not let it bother me. So why can't you? You know, some parents maybe just don't. Some parents actually don't even know how to deal with their kids when they get bullied, because it's like, well, I didn't get bullied, so or I didn't get bullied about that. And if I did, it's like if my mom said to me, she didn't. I said if my mom said to me, well, I got bullied for being fat, but it didn't get to this situation. What the hell are you doing wrong? Why are you doing everything wrong? That's the parent kind of basically criticizing the kid for being wrong, when really you should criticize the person that's victimizing your kid for being the victim is not the one that's in the wrong. Usually, sometimes they can end up in the wrong, but they don't usually start off in the wrong. It could be that maybe they're being bullied and picked on because of something they said, which is really stupid, and made them look dumb. But in reality, a majority of the time, that's not what it is. Majority of the time, this starts off when someone's young, they're in elementary, and the kid says, well, you're fat, you're ugly, this, you're that. And then that one kid that's being picked on, the victim, is then going to start to assume, well, yeah, I'm young. At that young of an age, they don't really realize that it's most likely not true. And if it is true, and this is how I think about it, at a young age, when people say kids won't lie, it's mostly true. Yeah, they lie to their parents. I'm saying, but when it comes to somebody like one kid making fun of another little kid, like one little kid making fun of another little kid because maybe he's fat, that kid's gonna say to the kid he wants to pick on, the bully's gonna say to the fat kid, "Oh, well, you're fat," because he knows that the kid knows he's fat. It's unless he's blind or whatever, he has a hard time saying he will know he's fat, straight up. If he doesn't, I don't know what to say, but most likely he knows he's fat. Now there's a kid telling you you're fat, so on top of the fact that you know you're fat, he's telling you you're fat. Now he's gonna make fun of you for it. So it's like, how do you deal with it? At a young age, you don't know because you're just starting to experience this, and maybe it's the first time you've experienced it, and you have no idea how to deal with it, and maybe you don't feel it's necessary to go to an adult, and even if you do, you maybe don't understand exactly what you should do. You only maybe use what they're telling you to do, and that's it. And maybe that doesn't resolve the conflict, or maybe that doesn't help it whatsoever. And maybe, like I mentioned earlier, maybe it could actually cause it to escalate. Maybe they say, "Oh wow, you're such a loser. You went to an adult for help. You can't even deal with your own problems." Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to everybody. Someone's gonna be that idiot that criticizes you for going to somebody for help. But let's say you're in class, and you raise your hand, for the teacher to help you. If I say to you, "Oh, wow, you can't even, you don't even understand this, but I do. You're stupid." That's nothing right. I'm not saying it's right, but it's more or less the exact same thing, because it's like I'm criticizing you for asking for help. You're criticizing me for going to somebody for help. Basically, yeah, I'm asking them for help because I don't know what to do because you're bullying me. So, what exactly is it that we're supposed to do at that young of an age that we're not doing? You know what I mean? It's like, what are we to do? Do we just take it? Do we let them make fun of us? Do we um what do we do? We don't know what to do. So it's like we just like just let it go. We just like boom. Who cares? We're just gonna let it be. Like push all of it aside and be let it be non-existent in our life in terms of, or it's gonna be existent, yeah. But it's like I don't know what to say, but it's one of those things. It's kind of hard to understand when somebody's going through something you don't know what it is. Like it's like one thing that I noticed when I used to get bullied is when they would call me fat. This is why I brought this up. They're going to use something that is true about yourself. Maybe you're broke and you know it, and because you are not wearing new clothes, maybe clothes have some rips in them, they're dirty, you smell, whatever. They're going to use that against you. They're going to use that as a form of retaliation. And as they're coming up with the start to the argument, let's say, the fuel to the fire, escalates. There's more fuel to that fire. The fire extends. The forest burns down. City burns down. the province or state burns down, the country burns down, the world's burned down. The world burns down. It escalates very quickly. It's a forest fire. And as a kid, one of my social workers, not one of my social workers, but some, it was a social worker, but it wasn't my personal social worker. This is somebody that we had in one of my special education classes that I used to go to as a kid. In the class, we would do work with all our courses, but we also had somebody that we could talk to if we ever had a problem. And she said to me, "Think of bullying as a house fire. It starts off usually very small. Now, we don't know how quickly it's going to escalate. Same thing goes with bullying. The house fire can start off from a spark and the house blows up because that spark hit gas tank, or something like that, and the house blows up because the gas tank blows up. So it just went from 0 to 100, and you're done. Nothing you can do on to that point. There's no going back. Bullying is usually the same as that. It's very relatable because, like, not directly, obviously, it's not that you're gonna burn the person, they're gonna die, but you shouldn't. Don't use that as a method of resolving your bullying issue. But as I mentioned earlier, violence should be your last resort, and I highly, highly thank that one viewer that's still watching for this last, I don't know, 10 minutes. And as I'm saying, if you don't know how to put out the fire, so to say, in this case, with my example, it can just continue escalating, and it continues to going on and on. It gets bigger and spreads more and more and more. Or I can kind of relate that to being a secret that you tell somebody. Now, let's say I tell somebody, I don't know. Let's say something, I don't know. I ripped my pants. I don't want nobody to know, so I tell this person as a secret. It's kind of defeats the purpose of you not wanting anybody to know, so you tell somebody. Because that's exactly what happens. But, it's kind of strange when you think about it like that, but it's something that's going to happen. It's happened. You don't want nobody to know, so you tell one person. You don't want nobody to know, so you end up telling somebody because you don't want them to know. That really makes lots of sense, but whatever. Usually it's because you tell somebody you believe you can trust, or that you know you can trust, whatever. So let's just say for however reason, or however, it managed to get out to another person, and then that person is somebody with a really big mouth, and they tell everybody in class or everybody in school. They all make fun of you because, oh, haha, your pants ripped or whatever. You can. Word travels quickly. That's basically what I'm trying to get at. Not necessarily that bullying is like a secret. You can choose to hide it, but at some point, guys, it's going to get out there to where everybody knows. For me, I'm not a very outspoken person in terms of I'm not really social. I'm not really open about personal things. At least not as much as I used to be. I used to be very open about everything. It's just like, but as I got older, I started sheltering myself, my emotions and whatnot, just because of personal things that happened when I was younger. And the things that I went through and emotions and whatnot. But my point behind all this, and I apologize for the length of the stream. Also, I thank you for the one viewer still watching. Everybody deals with things differently. So if I'm getting bullied, like I mentioned, if this one kid calls me fat, and at a young age, I'm not really going to understand what to do. So I may go to the adult, and they may say, well, one biggest things someone's never going to tell you, and I was never going to tell a little kid. Are they going to tell you just let them make fun of you? No. Sometimes they will, but I'll talk about having that as an option later. But most likely they're going to tell that person to stop it. That is something we are taught at a young age. Just everybody watching this is probably been taught at a young age that if somebody makes fun of you or somebody does something you don't like, tell them to stop it. Or, if they hurt you, tell them to stop. Say, please, can you stop? You know what I mean? Like they tell you verbally, literally, how to say it. Because telling somebody to tell them to stop sometimes isn't enough, literally. It actually sometimes isn't enough. Maybe you don't understand. How do I say it? Like, I can just say, stop. They're not going to care. Maybe if I say it a different way, they may look at it differently. They may actually stop. Sometimes it happens that it does work, and sometimes it doesn't. There's a 50-50 chance that this will work. So from there, let's just say in this case, it doesn't work. So they continue bullying you. They continue calling you fat. Now, you went for a haircut, and they screwed up on your haircut. Now your hair doesn't grow back within like a day. If you go bald, going to an afro does not happen in a day or a week. It happens within several months, I think. It takes enough time, not a week. So that being said, even if it took a week, let's just say it takes a week. Um, and now this kid says, not only are you fat, but you look like a dork because your hair looks all messed up. Wow. Your mom or your parents or whatever can't even afford to get you a good hairdresser. What do you do? Cut your own hair? Something stupid and immature and ignorant like that. And then that starts to bother you. Then you go home all upset and angry and pissed and crying and like ma or dad or whoever. That kid said that I'm fat and now he's starting to make fun of my hair and yada 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 yada. That's where this is something that's really dumb. Like it's like, and this is why I said earlier. They'll use things that are actually true. Like your hair may look bad. Maybe the hairdresser didn't tell you, but oh yeah, obviously my hair looks bad. It's they screwed up in the one part. I have a freaking bald spot, or maybe they because the bald spot was too big, they just shaved it all off. Or whatever. Or you're wearing clothes now, so not only are you fat and you have a screwed up hairstyle, you're wearing bad or ugly or cheap clothes, or maybe they're not as expensive as mine. So I'm gonna make fun of that. Now, on top of that, you maybe I don't know. You fail the test. So you're stupid, fat, have a bad hairstyle, like your hair looks like shit, and you have less expensive clothing as well as you failed because you're stupid. Now it escalates even more. So the next thing they're probably going to tell you to do, which I'm not saying these won't work. By all means, try them. If they don't work, you know, it's unfortunate. Some people just continue going on and on and on and on and on. And they don't care. Me personally, knowing what it's like to be a bully and it's really obnoxious, and I know what it's like to be bullied as well, it's really obnoxious. I know not to do that. I know it's wrong. I know it hurts. I know what it feels like to get to a suicidal point because of someone else's words. And other things too. But for the sake of the stream, this kid stops for a little bit. A month, maybe 2, 3 go by. All's good. He stops. Maybe he's sick or whatever. Or he doesn't necessarily stop, just he's still in school and he stops. He, the next day maybe he has the flu. He goes home sick. He's sick for maybe a week or 2 or a month, whatever. Let's just say a month. For that 1 month, you're like, dang God. Thank Kevin. I'm so happy I don't got to listen to this kid bully me and make fun of everything that's wrong with me. Well, yeah, you're probably going to say that because it's like, well, you've been tormented and told the same things that are wrong with you over and over and over and over and over again. 20 quadrillion times in a day. And it's like you start to believe it because it's like if you're being told this so frequently, your mind automatically is going to start thinking, well, is it true? Because at first you may go through a phase of denial. No, it's not true. But then slowly your brain will start to think, well, if it's not true, why would they say it? So even if I don't realize it, they're saying it. So maybe even if it's not completely true, it's partly true. But there's still that percent of it that is true, even if it's not a full, even if it's not 100% true, there's still that part that is true. So maybe I don't look like really fat, but I still am heavy. You know what I mean? I may not look like a freaking dump truck, but I do look like, a pile of poop. I look like a sack of potatoes. I look fat. When I'm using, someone that's fat because I'm fat, I got made fun of this, and then they start calling you names. So whatever. So the week goes by, the month goes by. Sorry. They come back. It starts all over again. They continue now. Let's say, I don't know. It's happened for a few months. That 1 month they were gone, whatever. Then they come back. Now, the one thing you try to do, which you probably going to also have been told, is ask them to leave or ask them, or sorry, not ask them to leave, but ask them to leave as well. But also, or both. Also mention, if you don't stop, I'm going to tell the teacher. Then I know my voice is going to be annoying when I do this, but then it's like, oh well, now you're a snitch. Now they go tell everybody in the school you're a snitch. Nobody hangs out with you. Unfortunately, that's one of the most immature things that kids do. They know that someone else doesn't like this one kid, so when he starts telling everybody else and nobody else likes him, you want to fit in with everyone else instead of the one kid. So, you know, two is better than one, and that's kind of the logic you use. So this one kid is most likely going to be outspoken by all these other kids that believe the one bully who's telling them that, like, let's say there's 11 kids, you're the 11th kid, there's 12 kids, you're the 12th kid, the bully is the 11th kid. The bully tells all the 10 other kids, you're a snitch. Those 10 kids automatically start to stop like hanging out with you or whatever. Or they even if they don't hang out with you, they want absolutely nothing to do with you. They don't want to hang out with you in class. They don't want you to participate in any class event, any class, whatever. They don't want nothing to do with you. So that goes to start and make you angry and bothers you, sad and emotional, and makes you cry when you go home and whatever. And it's so dumb. Like there's so many things that people use to hold against you and make bully you. It's so sad that people like. I sometimes look back at my life and I think, well, I bullied my best friend, and I've mentioned this multiple times. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it last night in the stream too, episode 71. Um, this kid is my best friend, but I bullied him because he used to pull his hair out. Now he's not 100% mentally stable. I don't want to sound like a jerk. I have ADD, but it doesn't make any difference because I'm still saying it. So it's if I have ADD and I say that person's N word, that black person's N word, or that um, I call a gay person a faggot, I still said it. I can't blame it on my disability because I said it. I chose to say it. I may not have intended it to be taken like that, but you know what I mean. It's just like it was said. What was said was said. What was done is done. I can't blame it on anything except me. I made the choice to say it, regardless. Um, so if people don't realize what they do, like I was saying, when I look back at what I did, I realize how the hell was I so inconsiderate, so heartless, so mean to make fun of him because of something that he did, especially knowing that everybody made fun of him for it. He got picked on day in, day out, in class, out of class, during recess, after school, before school, in the halls, in the bathroom, during gym, at lunch, wherever, because of the fact that he pulled his hair out. He had to wear a hat, guys, in school because of how bad it got. Like that goes to show you it's bad. It's not that I just want to stick out, let me pull my fucking hair out. Boom. No, he's doing this because it's like he didn't realize or whatever the reason was. He did it. He started pulling his hair out for whatever reason. Like literally, when someone says I'm about to pull my hair out, he literally pulled his hair out. And I'm not saying this to be humorous. I'm saying this in 100% seriousness. So me making fun of him, being somebody that he trusted, absolutely did nothing good for it. In fact, he started to, back away from our friendship. At some one point in my life, when the teacher realized that me as one of his friends or somebody he trusted, whatever, was as well contributing to, making fun of him, pulled me up and said, seriously, like, what on earth are you doing? What the heck are you doing making fun of your friend? Is he not your friend? And I was like, yeah. And so why are you making fun of him? And it's true. It's like, how could I have been so foolish, so immature, so ignorant, so dumb to make fun of this kid because it's not even like not that it would have made it any better, but not because he was like fat or whatever or ugly. I didn't say anything like that, but not saying that I believe that. I'm just saying like it's not that I said that, but nothing that you say to make fun of somebody is ever nice. It's never a good thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, sometimes you can say it as a joke, even if you mean it, but you automatically assume that right off the bat, if they start to get mad, you just say, "Well, I'm just joking," don't get mad. But you can't always expect somebody not to get mad because it's like if you take it beyond, it's like when I said bullying, taking it beyond just bullying is a much bigger thing. When you involve racism, neglection, you know, more negativity on top of bullying. Obviously, you're just really, really in no way, shape, or form showing any care in the world about the fact that you're hurting this person's feelings. Like, if I say to somebody, you're stupid because you didn't buy this car versus this car, and I have this car, which is more expensive, it's better, it's this and that, and you're driving this, that's pretty dumb. But it's not the same as, not that it's better, as like I said earlier, but it's still the same as, because it's still bullying, as me saying, well, you're stupid in general, just saying you're stupid. But in the, you may think, well, isn't it a little bit worse because you escalated a little bit more by saying why you think they're stupid? Even though it's over a car, which is really dumb, it's even more dumb that you even bothered wasting your breath to. And don't take that as being bitter or cold. Like, I'm not saying that you wasted. Like, who am I that I got to talk to them? They're nothing. I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying, like, you wasted your time. Life is not long. Life is too short to waste your time making fun of somebody else. Now, I'm not saying if life wasn't short and we had trillions of years of life to live, that it would make it any better or more worth doing. But you guys probably understand at this point in your life, if you're able to understand what I'm talking about, that bullying is by no means right. Have I done anything over the internet, like cyberbullying? I cannot say no completely. I've never harassed a kid continuously over and over and over and over again to where they've gotten upset. Like, yeah, I've started not confrontation. I've started like arguments over the internet, over the comment section of YouTube, but nothing that's escalated to the point where it's gotten like serious, like where threats were being uh, sent back and forth between the two of us, or however many people. And thank you for the one viewer still watching. But when I read comments, like it's like a total game changer. Before I had my YouTube account, this account is my first YouTube account. I have several other ones, but for this video, I'm talking about this account. Before I had this YouTube channel, or at least before I actually started doing things with YouTube, I would comment on videos. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't give two shits about like what I said. I would just post my complete, honest. I'm not saying being 100% honest is bad, but if it's gonna make it look, oh, I thought my computer turned off. If it's gonna make you look, not to sound selfish, but bad, don't do it. In a way, be a bit selfish and don't make yourself look bad in front of other people. You don't want yourself looking bad. Nobody wants something to look bad. For instance, there was one time when I was watching, I don't remember what it was. I think something on why cigarettes are bad, and something about tobacco. I don't remember what it was. And I had corrected somebody. Now, I don't remember what I said, and then it ended up getting into this whole spiel about grammar. Because I corrected them on something they said, I believe, or something like that. And I spelt it wrong. Or this is, I think, before YouTube had autocorrect, or something like that. I don't remember what it was exactly. But now they started continuously messaging me. So this is during the time when YouTube messaging was still a thing. You know what I mean? Like, people could message you through YouTube. Now it's either through comments or through Google Plus, or however else. And I think personally, I was in the wrong too. We were both in the wrong, but I'm not saying he was more in the wrong than I was. I'm not about to go and start all this conversation about something stupid like that. But he continuously harassed me to the point where I literally had to report him as spam and block the channel because it got so bad. Like, he continuously, day after day, hour upon hour, would message me back and keep saying, well, aren't you going to spell it right? And I believe I spelled tobacco wrong or something like that. And he was, I think, correcting the person in the way they spelled it, but in a snotty kind of way. At least that's the way it came across through the comments. Which, again, comments, like, things that are typed show no emotion, regardless whether they're about an emotional topic. If I type up a script and I just paste it somewhere and I post it somewhere on the internet. Like, let's say I type up something like I don't know. Let's say I say this guy's crazy. Maybe I don't know. Maybe let's say I comment on the video about the Buddhist lighting himself on fire. I may say, but as a comment, this guy's crazy. With exclamation marks. Now, the way you use punctuation kind of alters the way it comes across to other people. But my point is, it's no different to bullying because at the end of the day, it starts issues. I think it's ridiculous. The amount of this is why for me, I have to approve my comments before they go through for most of my videos. Now, certain videos I really couldn't care less. Like, it's not that I don't know exactly how to explain it, but it's not that I just the good things. My videos are all about being legit and truthful. You know what I mean? It's like, that's what I do. Let's talk. So to be a hypocrite towards myself, which that made no sense. To be a hypocrite and say that I'm going to do a true life channel, basically, because that's more or less what I do now. I do streams about, let's talk and things that I want to talk about, true life things, or whatever. But they're true things. And then I mask everything that's negative on my channel in terms of people that comment on my videos, and I don't approve negative comments. It really doesn't look bad. It doesn't look good. Because I'm going against the whole sole purpose of my video, of my channel, sorry. So I don't know how people can think in any way that commenting on someone's video saying that their videos are shit. Like, there are some videos that truly, they're just dumb. They have no major purpose to be uploaded. Some people will comment on someone's video saying it's not funny, but to others it's hilarious. But to me, maybe it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. It's the most immature thing I've ever going to watch. But to you, it's the most hilarious thing in the world. That's something that really sparks an issue because it's bad to one person, but to the next person, you know what I mean? It's just like it's gold. Like, one man's trash, another man's treasure. You know what I mean? It's like that. But like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to link episode 70 of Let's Talk down below in the description. I want to wrap this up, but I just want you guys to let me know in the comments section down below, or on Twitter, using the hashtag bullying ain't life, or combat bullying, and tell me on Twitter using hashtag combat bullying how you have, or what you would do, or tell somebody or whatever to resolve a bullying, a case of bullying. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like you're sick, and it just goes away after some time for sure. I mean, it lasts a long time, but for sure at some point it's gonna go away. Like if I have a cold, it's not gonna last for the rest of my life, most likely. Bullying, I can until I die. You know what I mean? Or unless the person dies first. But my point. Excuse me. So let me know using hashtag combat bullying on Twitter, even if you have it on Facebook, how you would resolve the issue of bullying, whether it's you versus someone else. Again, not that it should be a fight, but how would you try to de-escalate the situation? But anyways, guys, until next time, rate, subscribe, and comment, thumbs up, like, and share. I truly hope you guys truly understand the sole meaning behind this video. I know there's been several videos in this past maybe week or month that I've posted that I actually upload because I want to get a true opinion out. But until next time, guys, rate, subscribe, and comment, thumbs up, like, and share. Peace out.